Hello everyone, my name is Nick with Enemy Plays, and this is my review for ICEY. ICEY is a futuristic 2D platformer which seems to pull inspiration from Castlevania, Megaman X, and the Stanley Parable. While I feel it falls a bit short in how it draws from all of these franchises, the game as a whole is still very well done. The game is beautiful from the beginning. You have amazingly crafted backgrounds which really shouldn't just be ignored. The protagonist, ICEY, feels right at home on any screen, and the minions who shall soon be turned into scrap do as well. The movement and combos flow really well also, but it runs into a bit of a snag when you try to break boxes and it takes 5 hits to break, but after 3 you've naturally moved away from the hitbox. Or when you get stuck in a certain boss's grapple attack, there isn't a fluid animation. ICEY just twitches like crazy in his arms. The fights themselves do tend to drag on a bit long. This is mostly with trash enemies you clear on the way to bosses. Some of the fights go on for a few minutes, where you aren't in any real danger, they just take a while to die. Boss fights seemed right on point though. They last between 1 and 4 minutes each, and do require you to pay attention and exploit weaknesses just as you'd expect from a game of this type. The game does feel very natural with the controller. I used an Xbox One controller, and the game felt like it was designed for that far more than just a keyboard. I would assume almost any controller would work equally well. There isn't a sprawling map to explore like Metroidvania type games, and returning to previous areas with new abilities is almost non-existent. There are 2 upgrades you can get, which are given very quickly, and then the upgrade process seems forgotten altogether. You can purchase new combos and attacks, but there are so many options and mashing buttons tends to work just fine anyway. Then we have the narrator. I don't feel like the developer was actually going for a Stanley Parable comparison. The difference between the two is that the Stanley Parable, the narrator is the game. Everything you do is to see how he'll react or what will happen if you obey or disobey. ICEY's narrator acts more like a guide, an occasional comic relief. He is in no way the star of the show like Stanley's Overwatcher is, but I feel like he serves an important purpose to let you peek around the fourth wall without always outright breaking it down. Total playtime was 2 hours until the last boss was killed as a standard blind run on easy mode. A handful of deaths throughout the game, but nothing that I felt was unfair or overly challenging. After making a mistake and getting killed, it was almost always easy to identify my mistakes and correct them the next attempt. Only once did I have to complete a significant amount of the game again because of a death, because the autosave locations are very well placed. The game is certainly worth the $10 asking price if what you've seen in this review looks interesting. Thanks for watching my review of ICEY. If you want to see more of this game, click on the screen for my full playthrough, or if you want to play it yourself, click the link below and get it on Steam.